What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's a little upload today. It's all things Raphinha at this stage of the season, after the season's done, before the transfer window's open, negotiations here, there, and everywhere. But I just want to talk about the possibilities of what could happen with Raphinha and what I would like to see happen if we can't come to a solution in making a sale. Now, before I get into that, please hit the like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and share the video around. It's much appreciated. But yeah, let's get into it because as of today, Leeds United have not sold Raphinha. The negotiations, Barcelona is still trying to negotiate, but Barca are in a bit of issues themselves in terms of salary cap issues. They need to move a few players on before they can register a couple more players. And at the moment, that's not a Leeds United problem. Leeds United are reportedly wanting 55 million euros and they want it all up front. So no installments on this one. They want all the money up front, which I think is good. Now, the price, I'll get into the price in a bit, but it's good that Leeds United are taking a stance and want the money that they're demanding and don't seem to be looking to budge from it. And I just hope they stick to that as well, because we don't need to be bullied. We didn't get relegated. We're in a good position in the Premier League to say that, no, he's worth this to us. And again, I've seen Barcelona fans today talk about Raphinha being held hostage by Leeds United. And I think it's hilarious. As buying clubs, you always want the lowest price possible, right? We're the same as well when we want other people's players. We say, he's not worth that. But it's always in the selling club's hands to determine the price unless there's a clause in the contract. And I use Harry Kane as an example. Just think about what he's been worth to Spurs. When Man City wanted him, Spurs said we want near 150 million. Everyone's like, oh, is he worth that? But to Tottenham, he is. Now you look forward a year later, with Harry Kane, they were able to attract Antonio Conte. I don't think Antonio Conte goes there if there's no Harry Kane. And with them together, they finish in a Champions League place. So was it worth it for Spurs? Absolutely it was. Even going to a Declan Rice example, to West Ham, people think it's outrageous that they want over 100 million for him. Now, but to West Ham, he's worth that. He's a leader on the pitch for him. He's a real good player. And he's been an important part of why they've been on a European charge and will be looking to go again in Europe next season. So they're looking to build around him, not sell him. So if you want him, pay the price that they think is worth. That's how it is for us as well, people. Now, straight off the bat, I want to make it clear. I think Raphinha is worth at least 80 million. I do. So for me, I wouldn't be negotiating any lower than that. But in reality, we didn't finish high enough in the Prem to even say, listen, Barca, if we get two more players, we think that we can go for Europe. We didn't finish 10th, 11th or nothing like that. We just about survived, which again, that kind of weakens your starting position too. And also his numbers weren't, it's not that they weren't great. They were very good in the team that we had, but we watched them every week, didn't we? We saw the quality and the lift that he gives us in games, how much of a game winner he is. But to them, they're looking at his low assist, not his fault. Again, quality of the team around him. But that goes against him too, because the numbers aren't as high as that I think they would be in a better team. So we do have to, unfortunately, lower out the valuation there. And I think Leeds saying 55 to 60 million euros and all up front is their way of saying, we know what he's worth, but we want all that up front. And I think that's fair enough. That's up to us as a selling club to do that. Now, as far as I know, it hasn't been reported with any, authority that he sent in a transfer request. So as we speak today, there's been no transfer request. So for me, Raphinha, I think, although he'd be disappointed if he doesn't get his move to Barca, I think that it wouldn't put his nose out of joint if he had to stay at Leeds a bit longer than he probably thought he would. Now, the way I would remedy that is I would go into the new season. If there's no way, let's just say there's no way of getting a deal done with any other club, because allegedly Chelsea are interested in him. Now their takeover's done. Obviously, they would have the money to pay all the money up front. Liverpool are allegedly interested in him again with Mane's pending departure possibly at this time, with a swap with Minamino. We'll get into that another time if that ever does happen. But for me, if you're talking 60 million euros to Barca, you've got to add at least 10 on for a Premier League club. That's just the way it has to be. It has to be like that, because for me, I don't want to see him to play for another Premier League team. I just don't, especially if it's Liverpool, and you all know why. So you have to say to those clubs, you have to pay a little bit more than Barca would. I think that's fair. I think that's just the way business is done as well in the Premier League, as we've seen in previous years. But let's just say he can't get a deal done, and he's got no choice but to stay. My solution would be to offer him a new contract. Nothing major, nothing long in terms of years. I would say add on another year for us, so taking it to 2025. I would make him the highest paid player at the club. I think he's deserved that. So there you're showing how much he means to you, and you're showing that it's just another year on the deal just to protect our value, but we're also giving you the incentive of being the highest paid player. But what I would do also on Raphinha's side is I would insert a couple of clauses in there. The relegation clause is a standard that just has to be put in there. But what I would do as well with this being a World Cup year is I would put in a clause in the contract saying, listen, if I do well at the World Cup, which I think he will, I think he's going to have a really good World Cup, by the way, people. But I do well at the World Cup and people want to come for me in January. Let's set a price for January. Let's set a price in January where he can go without any questions asked. A minimum fee release clause in January. And I would say, what would you say? I don't know, whatever price you're saying. And then I would make one for the end of the season where you make a release clause where if we finish if we finish below a certain place in the table, he goes for that amount. But if we finish over that a place in the table, he goes for another amount. So I would make it just very incentive based in terms of where Leeds United are, and also Raphinha too. I think that would possibly be the best way for now. And obviously for me, I think that he should be in a Champions League team. He shouldn't be here next season. As a Leeds United fan, I want him here. Let me get that straight. I want him here. But as a football man, he should be competing in the Champions League. He should be at that level. So for me, it's a bonus year that we'd be getting out of a player of his caliber. So yeah, I wouldn't make the release clauses too high. I would say in January, we talk 55 million. 55 million if a club wants him in January after the World Cup. And then at the end of the season, especially if we finish below a certain place in the table, let's say below the top 10, you say 40. And then if it's over 10, then you say 50. I don't know. That's for the clubs to decide. But I think you have to make it fair in order for him to sign on. And the fact that, he should be playing at a much higher level. And that's the only thing why I would make it in consideration for the prices being as low as I've just quoted there. But obviously the clubs would do much better than that, you would hope anyway. But so yeah, that's my opinion on it as we speak today. Barcelona is still looking to negotiate here and there, but for me, Leeds have got to stand their ground here and realize what this player is worth to us as a team, as a collective. He's not a player that is going to down tools. He didn't do that. Yes, he was disappointed after the January transfer window with what activity he saw, I believe. But I don't think he'll ever down tools. You saw that on the last day. I mean, saying to, previously with Michael, if he really wanted to go, he wouldn't have put in so much effort, and he could have probably been out the door by now. A deal could have been done, and he could have been a Barcelona player in waiting 1st of July. It could have happened already if we got relegated. So I think he will always give his all to the cause. I just think he's that kind of driven player. So yeah, listen, people, that's it for today. Give me your thoughts in the comments on what you think Raphinha is worth. Do you want him to stay for another year? Do you think Leeds' valuation is fair? Do you think we should be asking for more? Just give me your thoughts and feelings on what I've discussed today. If you think it's a good idea as well to make him the highest paid player, or do you think that you should add on more years? Do you think he would even sign on for more years than just adding on until 2025? So yeah, that's it, people. Subscribe, comment, like. Peace out.